Hi guys, welcome back. It's me. For today's video, I'm going to be here talking with the amazing person that I have with me today. As always, thank you so much for your time and tuning in to today's video. Hey, what are your names?
Calvin. Wyatt.
My name's Adrian. My name's Bowen.
Do you have a highlight of the day or the week?
Yeah, the highlight is definitely this afternoon. We decided to come out and just take a little walk. The weather's super nice today, so definitely like a really nice view over here.
I really do appreciate what we're having right now. The view is amazing, and I feel like everyone should just sit down and look at all the scenic and just be appreciative.
It's actually my birthday today. Thank you. So I think that's been the highlight of the afternoon for sure. Getting to spend time with my friends and people I really care about has been really special.
Today's a great day as well. Having spent time with the boys, looking at the views, having some beers on the side, celebrating my mate's birthday too. But every day's a highlight as well. Treat every day it's like your last, and you have a great life for sure.
What's one real life skill you had to learn on your own?
I think moving out was a big move for me, just like adjusting to being able to take care of yourself at home, and just managing all the things at home. So that's probably the biggest.
What's one real life skill you had to learn on your own?
Going out, figuring out what they like, what they don't like. So I feel like one thing I really learned is just to go out, explore and see what I don't like. And now I found it. Lots of hobbies, lots of nice things to do.
I think one real life skill I had to learn on my own, especially after moving from Canada, is how to embrace being lonely or how to be happy with yourself. I think that when I first moved out, I didn't have any friends. My family's back home. And it was really hard to transition at first. But I really try to focus on myself and to take care of myself, spend time with myself, and find things that make me happy on my own. And then from there, you meet great people and have amazing experiences.
I think coming from Melbourne, moving to Brisbane, I had a lot of time to discover myself as well and learn a lot about myself, what I like and what I don't like. And I think self-discovery was a huge real life skill that I learned to embrace along the way on this journey. So I think knowing yourself, realizing what you love and don't like as well, and trying to find things that you can learn to love as well, appreciating the environment and atmosphere around you is a huge skill that I've learned to embrace. And that's made my life a lot better for myself.
How do you manage your money and who taught you that?
The first step is probably just being aware of how much you're spending. So just having the awareness of how much is going out, that's really important. And as long as I have sort of an idea of how much I feel like I should be spending per month. And so you can always if you have that sort of goal, it makes saving a lot easier.
What do you wish you knew about taxes after school?
It's a hard question because I don't pay a lot of taxes, right? At the moment, I'm still studying. I would just say there's just a lot to learn in terms of, I think it is really important to really understand how it works though, because there's a lot of sort of different ways where the taxes can work in Australia, and whether that's in terms of investments or having property in terms of if you own a business and that kind of thing. But it's definitely something I probably won't be able to answer too well at this stage.
I think we're all should be the same.
Did school prepare you for adult responsibilities?
I think in some ways it doesn't. Like you said, we just talked about the taxes issue. That we don't really talk about. A lot of it is just the subject that you study at school. It's not life skills that you really learn in school. I think you do learn these important skills to have in terms of being able to be consistent with your studying and making sure you get things on time and that kind of stuff. But I guess the broader things.
I think when I was in school, it's all about just doing the work that I was supposed to do, meeting up with deadlines, stuff like that. But I feel like once post school, you just start to do stuff you want to do. There's no deadlines. You look for stuff like that makes you happy. And I feel like that's one of the biggest parts school doesn't teach me. Instead of having to do stuff, I want to do stuff now. So that's basically.
I have a controversial opinion, but I don't think school really does prepare you for adult responsibilities. And I don't think it necessarily has to either, right? I think when you're in school as a kid, I think that's a different time than when you're an adult. I think everyone looks back when they're an adult and grown up and thinks about school and is like, damn, I wish I was back in school actually. Because that was a really special time where you can spend time with friends. You're learning, getting knowledge, but you'll learn how to be an adult when you're an adult, right? And growing up's all about trying things, failing, and getting better at them. So I think in school, it's more important to enjoy your time you have with friends and just learn skills like time management but also don't be too hard on yourself as well.
Say for me, school's taught me a lot of things about myself. I think in high school, for example, keeping up with assignments, doing well for grades and stuff, built a really strong sense of foundation in terms of my self-esteem and confidence in terms of expectations and what I expect from myself. I also think school taught me a lot about the importance of structure in your life and how much easier and how much more organized life can be when you have a structure set in your life, even if it's set by other people as well. But university, school's been a lot different where it's been a good place for you to make a lot of mistakes and learn from. I think school, especially in high school, even university, you tend to make a lot of mistakes during that period, but that's a great safe space to make those mistakes and learn from it. So I'd say in those sense, it's kind of built on my core values when it comes to handling. That set me up to handle adult responsibilities and stuff like that.
What's something about relationships or communication you had to figure out yourself?
I think one important thing is just always just talking things through instead of jumping to conclusions. Because I think a lot of the times misunderstandings happen from you assume certain things. I've sort of learned the hard way that you're not. A lot of the times it's just better to just make sure you know what their intentions were, just to be transparent about it. And it's always better to talk things through. So
I think early on when I was young and dating for the first time, I think what I learned was a lot of arguments, a lot of disagreements, a lot of problems come from uncommunicated expectations. Sometimes I'd be disappointed when my partner doesn't do something or doesn't express love in the way that I wanted it to be expressed to me. And looking back on it, I just didn't communicate those things to them. So I think if you're open about expectations and about how you want to solve problems and you're open to communication, then a lot of things can be circumvented and navigated that way.
I'm still pretty young. So in the same sense, I think some of the most important things in a relationship aren't always said. And I think sometimes you have to pick up on the subtlety, the things that might seem out of place or different in other people to really know what's going on in their lives. And sometimes they're just not comfortable telling you that. But that's where communication really comes key. If you get to the point where you guys are always communicating to each other the issues and the problems in each other's lives, then I think things will go a lot easier. But like I said, not everything is always said straightforwardly like that. And you got to pick up those subtleties as you go by.
I actually think a lot of people stress how important communication is, but I actually find that it's actually more important to have a better listening skill. Everyone says communication is so important, but it really doesn't matter when someone isn't listening. So I feel like just be a good listener. That's really key. And with communicating, honestly, just be honest most of the time, right? You don't have to lie. That's what I found out, basically. So
One thing you wish you were taught about mental health.
Oh, this is a big one, actually. I think one thing I've sort of discovered recently, or one thing like that's quite important is to know that your experience of the world is very subjective. So you can be going through the same things and some people might feel like, oh, their life isn't so great or they're not very satisfied with their life. But another person with the exact same sort of life might be looking at their life thinking, oh, this life is actually really great. And I think it comes down to how you perceive the world and the things that you look for. So being appreciative of the positive things in life rather than focusing on the negative things and shifting your perspective, I think is actually really important to be satisfied and happy with your life.
I wish I was taught that. I always thought when I'm feeling sad, I always thought, oh, that's just it. It's okay to feel sad. But I feel like there's a lot of instances where when you're sad, you could do something about it and feel way better after. So I wish, or back then, I wish I would have done stuff to make me feel happy. I feel like happiness is out there. You just got to search for it.
One thing I had to learn about mental health was that a lot of the saddest people put on the happiest fronts. So I think a lot of people in my life are going through struggles that I wasn't aware of until they opened up to me. On the outside, they'll appear happy, they'll appear cheerful, and nothing ever happened. But everyone's going through their own battles pretty deeply on the inside. So just check on your friends and really sit down with someone and just really check in to see how they're doing, if you care about them.
One thing that I wish I was taught earlier about mental health is that it doesn't take a lot for someone to get into a really deep and dark place. One event, one incident, one period of their life can really send them down to a really dark place they've never really expected before. And that can really upturn someone's life. I think mental health has a huge impact on people's lives and their ability to do normal things. And I think once knowing that, I think I just grew a lot more empathy for the people around me, people who aren't in their best spots as well. And I think that sort of empathy is much more needed in this world as well. I think I heard one of my psychologist friends, she said there's a lot of pain in this world. No, I think people have to be nicer to each other, I think. Something along those lines. I'll definitely butchered that.
Something you wish you learned about budgeting.
This comes back to what we already just talked about, but I think just having awareness is the first step of how much is not only how much you're spending, but what you're spending on, and whether that's where are the areas you can cut down on. And I think another thing is not just trying to save, but is there a way to increase your earning? So if you're someone who has already tried to save quite a bit already, but there are other ways where you can actually live a little bit more freely if you are able to increase your earning, that might be the better option. So like that, I would be sort of thinking about those things.
I think one thing I wish I learned was that money goes away very quickly when you're having a great time. So I think always remember to prioritize what's important in your life from an economic standpoint, or even the people around you as well. How much you're willing to spend on a certain person, on certain events or certain things and your essentials, obviously, and work around that. You know what I mean? But otherwise, I'm pretty bad at that.
That's all the questions for today. Thank you so much for your time.